The prosperity of Job was not preserved because he was not tithing, says Bishop Oyedepo. Of course, that is not true because the wealth of Job was never restored after he tithed.
You can't see anywhere where Job tithed, so his blessing was not secured. He was overly committed to giving liberally to the poor, and God is committed to bless him, but there was no security.
Tithing is an inescapable covenant obligation. Prosperity, not just wealth, is impossible without tithing, because when you are not paying your tithe, you're under a financial curse.
It's not that your pastor stand on the altar and say, if you don't tithe, come on there, because excuse me, sir. We tithe by revelation, not by intimidation.
Anyone who is not paying his tithe is not going to heaven. Full stop.
When you tithe by intimidation, your life remains tight. It's part of your tithes. They keep smiling to the bank while you're smiling to hell. You send your tithe where you are being fed spiritually. If you send your tithe where you are being fooled, giving you oil to drink, giving you water, giving you salt, washing your feet, your life will remain tight. You tithe because you are a responsible steward. If I don't tithe, I cannot come under a curse because I'm not under the law. In this dispensation, when you don't tithe, you don't come under curses.
Have you ever wondered why the devil is making preachers ask you for the first fruit offerings instead of teaching you the truth behind first fruit? Apostle starts us off in this video.
The feast of Passover helps us to eliminate the works of the devil. The feast of unleavened bread helps us to eliminate the works of the flesh. And the feast of first fruit helps us to establish the works of God, the new man. Write it. The feast of Passover helps us to eliminate the works of the devil. The feast of unleavened bread helps us to eliminate the works of the flesh. The feast of first fruit helps us to establish the works of God. You can now see why the devil is making preachers to collect your first fruit instead of teaching you the truth about first fruit. They keep smiling to the bank while you are smiling to hell in stupidity, because you are eager to look for what is not lost. Oh, you want God to bless you. Honor the Lord with your substance and the fruit and the first fruit of your increase. Then your whole barn will be full of this. Who told you that your barn cannot be filled? What is the blessing of tithing? The blessing of tithing is God opening the heaven to fill your life with whatever first fruit was given to the Jews.
In most modern-day churches, most people are tithing out of charismatic deception, where the pastor terrorizes and intimidates you to give. Some preachers have gone a step higher to tell you that you will come under a financial curse if you don't tithe. However, we tithe by revelation, not intimidation. The next time your bishop tells you that you will come under a curse for not tithing, here is how to answer him.
There's a way people are tithing today, their lives remain tight. Because you are tithing because the pastor intimidated you and said, bring the tithe, or you enter into a curse. That is nonsense. We tithe by revelation, not by intimidation. We tithe by revelation. It's not that your pastor stand on the altar and say, if you don't tithe, come on there, because excuse me, sir. We tithe by revelation, not by intimidation, sir. Please teach us the right thing. We don't tithe by intimidation. When you tithe by intimidation, your life remains tight. It's part of your tithes. When you tithe by intimidation, your life remains tight. It's part of your tithes. That's how you see all the believers on earth who have been given tithe. How many of us, our lives have changed? Very few. Because majority tithe by intimidation, not by revelation. How did Abraham tithe? He tithed by revelation. How did Israel tithe? They tithe by law. We are not under the law, we are under grace. We are to tithe by revelation, not by law. We are to tithe. Grace brings revelation. We are to tithe by revelation, not by law. Because we are not under the law, we are under grace.
Bring all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. Apostle explains to us the three kinds of foods that we are supposed to find in the house of God. Besides, he explains to us what happens when you tithe by revelation and not intimidation. Listen to this.
When you tithe by revelation, look at the blessing that God said he will bring. Verse 10. Bring all, Malachi 3:10, verse 10 says, bring all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. There are three kinds of food that must be in the house of God. There is food for the priest, food for God, and food for the sheep. Food for the priest is physical food. Tithing takes care of the pastor. Food for God is our worship. And food for the sheep is solid spiritual food. You send your tithe where you are being fed spiritually, not where you are being fooled. If you send your tithe where you are being fooled, giving you oil to drink, giving you water, giving you salt, washing your feet, your life will remain tithe. It's part of your tithe. Do you know that tithe is to take off the demon of destruction? Tithe alone can neutralize the demon of destruction. If I should tell you there are about 7 major blessings of righteous tithing, what tithe does to us? Are you understanding me? But how many people are experiencing that blessing because they don't understand that there's a covenant in tithing? If you don't understand the covenant in tithing, you remain a captive in spite of your tithe. You'll be captured by curses. It's part of your tithe. You'll be captured by ancestral spirit. It's part of your tithe. Do you know that tithing is enough to break us free from everything in our household if we do it by covenant?
Some preachers have told us that no tithing, no going to heaven. But is that true? Of course not. Apostle takes us through when tithe came to be and in which dispensation tithe was introduced. Just listen to this.
Hebrews chapter 7, verse 4. Now consider how great this man was, that is Melchizedek, to whom even the patriarch Abraham gave a tenth of the spoils. And indeed, those who are of the sons of Levi, those people who are saying they should not pay tithe, they should not pay tithe. Why did Hebrew mention it? You don't pay tithe, actually, you give tithe. We don't pay tithe. Under the law, they paid. Under grace, we don't pay. We give. And for every kingdom steward, tithing is a list you can give to God. Some of us, we have passed tithing long ago. We don't give tithe. I stopped giving tithe when I was a little pastor. Now I give God beyond the tithe. So when I hear a Christian asking, do we pay tithe? That Christian is stingy. Don't pay it. Are we under the law, under grace? When did tithing start? Is it under the law? No. It started in the dispensation of conscience. So you pay, you give your tithe if you sense God. It's your conscience, not a matter of persuasion. Your conscience, your work with God should tell you. Is somebody hearing me? Are we in New Testament? You argue. Okay, now why are you not talking about? I want God pray for me for my deliverance, but let it. But I want to find out: are we in New Testament or Old before I'm delivered? Why are you not asking God like that? You see, the whole counsel of God is full of truth. The only thing Jesus fulfilled on the cross are the shadows. Tithe was not a shadow. Was tithe a shadow? Shadow of what? Shadow of you? Tithe was not a shadow. There is no act of stewardship that was a shadow. So Abraham was the one who started tithing, not Moses, not Israel. And the Bible says he gave it to who? Melchizedek. So you don't give your tithe to accursed leaders or accursed churches.
Apostle concludes by telling us that one should differentiate between tithing under the law and tithing under grace. We don't tithe under the law, that's why we cannot come under a curse for not tithing. We tithe out of responsibility to God. And you could be asking yourself, why did the early church not mention anything about tithing? Apostle has an answer for you.
Go and get the message on tithing, the glory in the covenant of tithing. Go and get that message and stop walking in ignorance. Verse 5. And indeed, those who are the sons of Levi, who receive the priesthood, have a commandment to receive tithe from the people according to the law. You see it now. When Abraham gave, was it according to the law? No. When Israel gave, it was according to the law. You must differentiate between tithing under the law and tithing outside the law. Me, I don't tithe according to the law. So that means if I don't tithe, I cannot come under a cause because I'm not under the law. Are you understanding me? In this dispensation, when you don't tithe, you don't come under curses. You tithe out of responsibility. And what do we define responsibility in the Bible school? Responsibility is responding to ability. You tithe out of what? Responsibility to God. You don't tithe because you want God to rebuke devourers. You tithe because you are a responsible steward. Are you understanding me? That's why you tithe. And the tithe is the least you give to God. The least. The reason why in the book of Acts they never mentioned tithe, because they gave their life. They gave more than the tithe. If Paul had given only tithe, do you think there will be salvation? Do you think we will have the New Testament? Those guys laid their lives, because you begin from 30-fold, 60-fold to 100-fold. Tithe is only 10. It's not even up to 30-fold. Is somebody hearing me? It's not even up to 30-fold. It's just 10. God telling you, come and become responsible in my kingdom. That's why when you get established in tithe, you begin to see how small the money you are giving to God is. And you begin to come into giving him higher finances. Is somebody hearing me? But if you are not yet established in the tithe, how will you know that what you are giving to God is small? Tithe helps you to break from stinginess. Faithful tithing helps you to break from what? Stinginess. And prepares you for higher finances.
You may also need to watch this video on those praying in the name of the God of their papas and mamas. Thanks for watching.